Hello everyone. As you know, that Nigeria and South Africa has been put in a grey list of financial action task force, and you need to be very, you're gonna watch this the whole video. I'm gonna try to explain you something, and I'm gonna be sounding very inappropriate in a bit, and I want you to be very calm and go through and read it in a very open mind. What I'm about to say to give you a practical example what is expected of your country if you are living in Nigeria or South Africa. Okay, so of course, this is a bad thing. So what can happen to your country? So I'm just gonna give you a few examples how what happened to the countries who were put in a financial action task force credits. I belong to a country, Pakistan. It was put in a financial action task force list in 2008 to 2022, so almost 5 years. And what's going to happen, there will be some, this is very extreme case, sanctions, or World Bank or any other bank is not stop gonna issue you loans. Americans are not gonna give you any aid, and there won't be any foreign direct investment, or there's gonna be a very significant decrease in foreign direct investment. Your country will be put in a S&P or Moody's bad list of investment. They're going to downgrade your credit risk rating, and banks in other countries are going to hesitate towards working with you. There will be increase in cost of cross-border transactions because there will be less banks involved in to work with you, and the banks that are very those who are willing to, they're going to charge more for the cross-border transactions, delay in payments, and reduction in country's rating, and there will be less banks who are willing to provide you downstream and or upstream nesting relationship through American correspondent bank. Okay, so negative consequences. What how it's gonna impact to you? First of all, you as a human being, as an individual citizen of those countries, how it's gonna impact your country. And what I have seen in my country, what I have seen in the countries that I've trained people from Mauritius or UAE or other countries, what has happened to those countries immediately. So you're gonna see that in the year that you are in 2023, there will be increase in unemployment because your country's suddenly your country's GDP is going to go down. Your country won't be able to increase their export as much, and because of the crude oil prices and so on, the import will either remain same or it's going to increase. So I found out this video there in scientists made in 2008, and just to give you an analogy example, it's a really good example. I'm going to make a full screen, so you can see that the cars are each car have a appropriate distance among themselves, that there's a free flow among the cars, and it's a real life video. So you're gonna see that in a bit, that this one car is gonna stop. There will be a suddenly break by one car, and when there is a break by one car for whatever reason, and you can see that there is a congestion, and the congestion is gonna increase in, and this congestion, and you can see that the flow is back, but this conjunction will remain the same in particular part. You can see this is the conjunction is falling. So means that if there is because of putting in a financial action task force list, when your country's economy slows down for whatever by putting in the grace, and the consequences of it, it has a negative impact for very long time. That means that if you go and read the case study of Japan, what happens in the 1980s and the 90s, it has a negative impact for at least a decade. So let's suppose, what are you expecting that your countries will be removed? Your country will not be removed to, next month, next year, or 2 or 3 years. It's gonna take time, at least 3 or 5 years, for your country to be removed from the financial action task force list. Even United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and so on, the country has been in the list for 2 years, and they are not. There is no expectation for them to be removed so quickly, immediately. So you're gonna see that there will be a conjunction in your country economy slow down, and it will have let's suppose your country's economy is free flow, and when there is a conjunction in for 5 years, it have a negative impact for at least a decade or 15 years, and that's a very bad thing for your country. If there is an unemployment, there will be increase in inflation in your country if it hasn't just yet. you're going to see a significant increase in inflation. And when there is a significant increase in inflation, your country government are going to increase the taxation, or increase the tax on your country's different sectors. Or the prices are going to increase, and your government is going to try to increase their tax collection from different sources, from the different services that they didn't put the tax previously. They're going to reduce the subsidies and so on. Okay, so everything, your cost of living are going to increase. If your cost of living is going to increase, and your disposable income, disposable income, which is the income net take home, means that what you get after deduction of taxes, your salary. So your cost of living is going to increase, your disposable income won't be able to catch up. This is what happened in my country as well. We were negatively impacted, and those who are living in right now in UAE since 2021, those from different countries, they are working in UAE, they have seen all of that their cost of living have significantly increased, and they are not able to save enough that they were previously able to save. Those people from India, Palestine, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so on, they were working in Dubai. They are no longer able to save as much that they were previously able to when the Financial Action Task Force was put their UAE in the grey list. So since your cost of living is going to increase, your salaries are not going to increase as much. Those since your some sectors of the economy are going to slow down, or they're going to close down their businesses, the income is not going to generate enough. So how you can make a living, or how you can improve? One way is to immigrate as quickly as possible, because it will have an impact for the next 12 to 15 years. Our country is going to suffer. It's been 5 years. This is the sixth year, and we are expected to suffer for next 5 or 10 years at least. So what has happened to our country and other countries as well? So how can if you are unable to immigrate, what can you do? I'm talking to those people who are in their 20s or 30s in those countries. If you are in this age bracket, you should be trying to uh, trying to try to make a career in anti-money laundering. So now I'm sounding very inappropriate, because I'm sound like a materialistic person who's saying that you exploit the opportunity when your country is put in a grey list. Yes, you should be thinking of that. If you are unable to immigrate to Canada, Australia, or other countries, then you should be trying to make a career, exploit this opportunity for a period that your country is in the Financial Action Task Force. So when the Financial Action Task Force puts your country in a grey list, they identify sectors uh, of the economy that are exposed to money laundering and terrorist financing risk. So what sort of sectors are usually exposed to? Is first sector is the banking sector. Second is your fintech sector. And like when Malta was put in a grey list, their gambling sector was the one that led to Malta, the country, put in a grey list. And when UAE was put in a grey list, the main sector was Hawala Hundi, that was very prominent in the country. So in your country, there will be a bank or fintech. Fintechs means that whatever the fintechs are providing other depositories, if there are any, there isn't any PayPal or something, but it's going to be equivalent to PayPal or Wise, Remitly, World Remit apps, or something that your country's citizens use to launder the money from Nigeria or South Africa to other countries. Or the issue of your black market, if there is a different rate in black market or interbank rate in dollars, so that means that your country is trying to do things or launder the money outside of your country in dollars. So these sectors, plus whatever other sectors are money service businesses sectors, they will be targeted by Financial Action Task Force. And your governments, if they are sincere, they will be asked to regulate them heavily. Heavily means that the government is gonna do a close monitoring on those sectors. They're gonna issue lots of regulations. They're gonna issue lots of law in those sectors, and ask them to make sure that whichever customers and clients are doing money laundering in banks or fintechs or MSPs, they need to identify them and file STR on them. This will lead to there will be lots of demand of AML specialists in those countries. Suddenly it's going to create lots of demand. So what is an AML specialist? AML specialist definition is either you have AML experience. Ideally speaking, the one that is usually count is between 3 to 5 years of experience. in anti-money laundering, and slash or you have AML certification. So if you have never worked in anti-money laundering or banking sector or a financial crime compliance, a certification can help you out to create a to fulfill this demand of anti-money laundering specialist. Just to give you my example, I was working as a CPA in KPMG. I did that from between 2014 to 2018. My country was put in a list in 2018. So I did between this period MBA in banking as well. So I got a job as an analyst in a bank, although I was working as an audit supervisor. So I got a job. I was demoted because they didn't count my whatever I did in KPMG. So I got a job as an analyst in 2018. I did the AML certification in 2020. I got a better job. I did a CGHS certification in sanctions. I got a better job. I did something in called data analytics. So I got another job in 2022. So I was started as an analyst. I'm right now as a VP. I got a job. The previous one was as an AVP. This is where I become an assistant manager, uh, and then an AVP, which was a team leader, and now I'm working as a senior manager. So I exploited this opportunity. I should not have. It would sound very inappropriate talking about your own country as a patriotic person. But since your government is and those people, other people who are getting rich, you need to take care of yourself. So your country will by the time for the time being, there will be in the list for 3 or 5 years. You need to make sure that you exploit this opportunity. If you cannot migrate to other country, developed country, if you're going to remain in those country, you need to become an AMS specialist, because there will be uh, in one sector, if there are any jobs in those countries, there will be those where they need anti-money laundering specialists. And when you get the certification, if you do not have experience in banking or compliance, you can get a certification and start your career like I did. And since there will be demands, you will be able to switch your job multiple times, because those regulators will ask these companies to hire AMS specialists, and they will be hiring lots of people without experience, or they will be hiring lots of people from different other sectors or retail banking or something, and they will try to make them the AML specialist or something. So you're going to make sure that you exploit the market. This will be much better if you already have a knowledge about finance or accountancy. Doesn't matter if you have the experience in KYC or anti-money laundering or financial crime compliance. Get the certification and start your career, and make sure that you change your career multiple times or switch your jobs multiple times. Like since my country is removed from the grey list in 2022, there is not that demand that there was last year. So I know I'm able to exploit this in the last 4 or 5 years. I won't be able to do the same thing since the country is removed from the grey list. But the country's our conversion rate to dollars in local currency have increased. There is still lots of corruption and bribery in the country, but my country was removed because the government showed some seriousness. So your country will be removed from the grey list after 3 or 5 years, when the government is going to share or able to meet the targets, some of the targets, and show seriousness about it, that to remove to achieve the other targets as well. They're going to remove your country after 3 or 5 years later, but you're going to make sure the way you're going to suffer, and all the citizens in your country is going to suffer. You, at least if you are of this age, you can make a career in those, in order to exploit this opportunity, and to reach this level, at least become an AVP or something, so that they're not going to take this designation or grade from you. So they like since my country has been removed, they cannot take me as my designation as a VP. I'm going to remain a VP. If I'm going to switch my job 3 or 4 or 5 years later, I will get a job at the same designation or occupation, or at least a better one. So I was able to exploit. I want you to make a career and exploit this opportunity. It sounds a bit rude, but if you do not have any opportunity to move on to the other country with because of immigration, or through education or something, getting masters, and then with the possibility of able to make a career in Canada or USA or Australia, if you can't, and if you're stuck unfortunately in those countries as a citizen, then you need to make use of whatever the options that are available to you. Again, it sounds a bit rude or inappropriate, but this is a reality. Lots of people did that in my country. Lots of people did that in the Mauritius as well. Lots of people are still doing it from whatever the other countries are in the grey list. But smart ones will be able to do it. Otherwise, you can either suffer. I'm just trying to find you the list who are as so Morocco and Cambodia have been removed, in the list, and your Russia have no longer is a member of Financial Action Task Force because of the invasion of Ukraine. So just to let you know that make sure you know exploit this opportunity and don't make it as a negative thing, what I'm trying to help you understand. Again, if you have money, just move to other country, because this will have a lasting impact for at least 5, 10 or 15 years in your country. You can see that this conjunction do not remove, do not let go so easily. It will have a one mistake, or let's suppose 1 year or 5 years or 4 years of your country economy slow down. It'll have a negative consequences for a long period of time. And this is a practical example to that, of a traffic. When someone's brake for whatever the reasons, then it will have a negative impact to all the people who are behind the car actually. So please take it as a constructive thing. Think about it and try to change your career, or try to improve your, if you are wherever you are working in, try to find an alternative way. You can do that by joining the training session that are starting on 18th of March, or whenever you're watching this video in future. I'm just trying to be sincere, because I've gone through this situation in my own country. I've seen my boss did the same thing, and I did the same thing, and others in this did the same thing, who were able to save enough money to get the certification. So you need to get the certification in order to be in the definition of AML specialist, or you can wait for 3 or 5 years of getting the AML experience if someone is going to give you the opportunity to work in AML, which is doing the hard way. But if you are able to save amount of money to get the certification, start your career, and you can at least be try to catch up yourself with a disposable income, that when your cost of living is going to increase, suddenly you're going to see that in the year that you are in. If it hasn't increased so far, you're going to see that very quickly in this year. So thank you so much for watching, and do consider it just positive, in a positive way. Don't find it inappropriate, but try to think about it, and you can contact me on WhatsApp, or on email. I'm just trying to show you that I have trained people from the countries that you are from. How many I've created? 60 or something people from Nigeria. Most of the countries are from USA or UAE or Canada or India, but I've trained people from South Africa as well, from Nigeria as well. Those people who are living in USA or Canada from Nigeria or South Africa, I've trained them as well, and they do realize this thing. If this is something new for you and you have no idea about what is Financial Action Task Force is, I would suggest you to try to consider this and make a career there. So thank you so much for watching. Do consider and let me know on WhatsApp or email. Thank you. Have a good day. Take care.